What's new? It's Blue. Hey guys! So, now that we've wrapped up dog days, for now, I'll talk about the side characters at a later date and draw some more art for them, well, for a video. But for this week, I'll be answering this comment that I got, and this person is basically just asking like if they could see how my character design process works. So I basically thought that I would essentially answer this while I create an idol group for my OC worlds, plural, because I like having things that link all of my worlds together. So like some of my OCs wear clothes from a brand and it'll have like its own little logo. So that's one thing that links them together. And back in 2019 when I was obsessed with the song Sweater Weather, I like by the neighborhood, I made like a neighborhood dupe that I called Suburbia. And that was like a band that kind of linked all of them together. Like even one of my OCs, when I drew his room, I'll put in a little clip here. There was a little post in the background of the main singer who then I called Cheryl Bones. And I basically just make these little things, Easter eggs that pop up throughout my world because it makes me smile. And so in keeping with that theme, I want to make an idol group because why not? So stick around to the end to see how I personally tackle the character design process as well as the group's final design and concept. So just giving a preview for the video, what I want to hammer out is their personalities. So like, you know, the group member archetypes, the flirty one, the silly one, the serious one, that whole thing. Obviously that's not all they are, but that just gives me like a good starting base. So their archetypes, their stage names, their real names, basic information like that, and then their group concept, and then their music versatility, their music concept, and then their personal styles. So like stuff that they'd wear like to the airport or like for their personal Instagrams. And I'm just gonna make it a 4-person group for my own sake, because imagine if it was like a 20-person group and I'm not doing all that. So yeah, let's get right into it. So just to give myself a nice like raw base, I used an ethnicity generator. So I obviously set it to generate 4 options, and then I chose their names based off the different ethnicities that I was given. And once again, when it comes to character creation, baby naming sites are your best friend. Alright? So anyways, so the ethnicities that I got in like the order that they came, I'll put the screenshot up here. So I got British, Emirati, Lebanese, and Senegalese. So those are our 4 girls, because I decided I'm doing a girl group. I don't know, I just felt like doing it. So, and then the names that I then chose, so I'm just going to say their names and then I'll get into like the rough sketches that I did of each of them. And for me, a lot of my character design process happens in my sketchbook, because my sketchbook is just where I do a lot of like messy sketches. It doesn't need to be perfect. And then digital art is where I then take more solidified ideas. So I'll obviously put in little sketches when I'm talking about them individually. But their names are Christina Bake Thomas for the British girl. And I decided to make her half Korean because why not? Obviously, idol group, I'm taking inspiration from K-pop, so I'm like, alright, let me fit that in somewhere. The Emirati girl is Farah Dahlia Rashid. And then the Lebanese girl is Layla Zaki. And with this one's surname, I grew up going to a Lebanese church and there was a family whose surname was Zaki, so that popped straight into my head. So yeah, that's pulling from life. That's also again how my kind of process works. And then the Senegalese girl is Helen Mariam Faye. So yeah, and those are their names. And then their group name is Belladonna. And literally there's no special reason why I picked this. I just chose Belladonna because again, I was thinking of words that I've been liking lately and Belladonna popped into my head. I was considering making a character just so I could name them Belladonna. And that's just how my brain works because I'm cute like that. And because as we know, idol groups tend to have like names like spelled with like interesting fonts. So this is how Belladonna would be spelled out. So it's like Bella in all caps because they're girlies, and then Donna and 4 at the end because there's 4 of them. So yeah. And since belladonna is like a poisonous flower plant, I thought that the whole poison thing could then kind of be like sort of a nice twist to like the flowery girl crush concept. So they're kind of like girl crush, they're a bit more edgy, you know, the poison part, but they're still flowery because they're pretty. Like, you know, like how a lot of times when people call something like flowers in like a lot of like K media, flower typically just indicates that someone is good looking or like regal in a sense, right? So I'm also playing into that, and I just really like linking things together like that. So that's their group concept, and individually, just in their own personal fashions and such, they'll have differences obviously, but when they're operating as a group, they go with that like sort of belladonna floral concept. So even their stage names are floral themed. So yeah, because I just think it's neat. I also imagine that they'll call their fan base saplings, keeping with the whole floral theme. I just think that's funny. So now that I've explained just the general intro stuff, let's get into them individually. So just going in like the order that they came in for the generator, starting with Christina. So her full name is Christina Bake Thomas, and her stage name is Poppy. And again, this is just how my character design process works. Not even Poppy for any particular reason, just because it's the first thing that popped into my head the moment that I knew she was gonna be like British. Also because like, is Poppy just not the most British name ever? Like names like Poppy, Molly, it's like so British. So either way, her stage name is Poppy. Bonus points, it's also a floral one. So yeah. So Christina Beg Thomas, stage name Poppy. She's British and Korean, and she's 5'6". Again, like feet and inches don't make sense to me in any other aspect apart from height. So she's 5'6", pronouns she, her, and she's 23. So I decided to make her the leader of the group since she was the first in the generator order. And I imagine her having a very thick Liverpudlian accent. Cause girl, I just love how y'all Scouse people talk. Like if there's any Scouse people watching this, comment in the comments. Oh my gosh, if you're from Liverpool, hey. I don't know, I just think how Liverpudlian accents sound. They just sound, I don't know, they're just satisfying to listen to. I'll like put a clip of one so you guys know what I'm talking about.
Big, great, fantastic. What else do you want me to say? Every player was boss, and the one that I'm mentioning now, Sadio Mane. I said it last time I was on it, he's the best football player in the world.
And so yeah, and I think that she would have been a trainee for like a while. So she's 23 now, and she would have been a trainee for at least 4 years. So here's my like timeline for her. So she became a trainee when she was 14, was a trainee throughout high school, and then she debuted at 19. And then now she's 23. So they've been debuted for a couple of years, and they've really taken the blue OC universe by storm. So yeah. And in my mind, like the whole trainee to idol pipeline fame machine is like less inhumane. So in this, because it's my world and I say so, it's not all that, you know, they all had like a fairly good time. Obviously, like, you know, training and stuff can be difficult, but it's not like, okay, this is soul crushing. So yeah, Christina's mainly a vocalist, and she takes more of a backup role for choreography, but her stage presence makes up for it. The first thing that came to my mind, like, I'll like, as I'm drawing here, I'm just coming up with like her sort of like casual outfit, and then the stage outfit for the concept that I'm gonna draw. So I'll put in the little like initial sketches that I did of her in my sketchbook, just trying to get like, you know, her hair and like her basic face done. And the moment I drew her hair, right, let me give you my thought process so you can like understand what I mean when I say that. It really just like comes out like a tap. So I drew this hair, right, and then it immediately made me think of Marlene McKinnon. I talk about Marodas too much, but either way, it made me think of Marlene McKinnon. And I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like how Marlene would look in my head. I don't know, like whenever I think of Marlene, that's just the kind of hair I imagine that she has. And then like, I was like, okay, so what is Marlene? Lesbian. So I'm like, okay, in my mind, Poppy is now gay. and that's like her thing. She's the gay one. In every single group, there's at least one member who's the closet is glass. The closet is glass. They're basically a walking pride flag, and all the fans are like, no, don't assume. Even when they're literally, they could be holding a pride flag, being like, this is me, and the fans would be like, no. And I don't even need to name examples. Y'all know who I'm talking about. So like, she has like really good stage presence. So maybe like, not that she's like bad at dancing, but she feels personally like it's not her strength. So what she likes for that, she makes up for in stage presence. Her personal style is kind of more of like sporty streetwear, cargos, crop tops. So it's her casual style. And then the group concept is like regal, sort of like flower, serving face. So that's Christina, or Miss Poppy. Then we have Farah Dahlia Rashid, and her stage name is Dahlia, but it's just spelled different. So typically her like middle name Dahlia is spelled like Dalia, but then as a stage name it's spelled Dahlia, like the dahlia flower. So again, that's her vibe. And yeah, so I decided that it'd be cute because some idols do that. They just make their stage name like one of their names, or a middle name, or a nickname, or something like that. So her stage name is just her middle name, which, good luck for her, happened to like be floral themed already, so cute. So she's Emirati and she's 5'10". I just wanted to make her a bit tall. I don't know, it just felt like the right thing to do. Pronouns also she, her, and she's also 23, so she's the same age as Christina. And the two of them became trainees at the same time and debuted together as well. So she also became a trainee when she was 14, and then they both debuted when they were 19. And she's one of the main dancers, and she's kind of like, it's like there's like the member who might be like a bit more serious in vibe, like maybe they look intimidating, but like wait till she smiles, that kind of thing. So it's like she's typically kind of has RBF, resting bitch face, just a little bit, but yeah, her and Christina get along really well. And those are those two's like kind of relationship. I'll talk about their dynamics as a group more when I'm doing like the main drawing of the video, but yeah. So I really wanted to make her a hijabi character, because fun enough, I also got a comment recently of somebody asking me if I have any hijabi characters, and I was realizing that I have a character who like typically wears like headscarves, but I know that a headscarf and a hijabi are not the same, thing. So I wanted to really make her one, and then find a way to also make her style very interesting, obviously, because on my Pinterest, and I was looking at it, you see so many different ways that different hijabi girls like snazz up their outfits, and like how they also like make the modest outfits look really cute. So I was like, oh yeah, there's lots of inspo for me to look at. So I wanted to do that. So for her personal style, she's kind of like kind of like super girly, like light and airy. Originally I thought like kind of dark academia, but I don't know, like it's kind of like a bunch of different things, but it's that mainly. And she loves ribbons. One thing about her, she loves ribbons, so she has ribbons like on clips and all that kind of thing. And then for on stage, like the way that she like styles like her hijab, it's kind of like a mix with like a scarf thing. So there's this one girl that I found, like I remember I saw some of her TikToks and I thought that was so interesting, and she was talking about how she like styles like headscarves in such interesting ways. So I thought that I could adapt that for her for an on stage look. I'll put in like a little clip of the girl that I'm talking about. And that was like the first thing that I thought of when I wanted to make Farah, and I thought that it would be very interesting. And like her go-to makeup look is definitely that like crisp kohl with a wing and lashes to the moon. She's always serving face. That's Farah's thing. Like, she's just here for a good time. So I love her, and she's mainly a dancer. I think I mentioned that already, but yeah. So that's Dahlia. Then we have Layla Zaki, or Jasmine. Her stage name is Jasmine. So she's Lebanese and she's 5'6" as well. Pronouns she, her, and she's 21. So she's slightly younger than the two of them. She's 2 years younger. And she became a trainee a bit later on. So she joined Poppy and Dahlia when they were 2 years in. So she was 14 when she joined, and they were 16, and then she debuted at 17. So she's like the second part of the dancing duo, so her and Dahlia. And she's like the bubbly sunshine type, very emotive, very energetic. I imagine that she'd be the one who's like super duper chatty on Weverse, or just like interacting with fans a lot on Instagram, that kind of thing. You know, selfies, very like online, that kind of thing. And I imagine she is like mainly confident in her dancing. I'd like to think that like her and Dahlia would have like sort of like a background with dance, but like she kind of wants to build up more confidence in her vocals, which again, it's not like any of them are like bad at anything. It's more just a personal thing, like, oh, I feel like I could get better at this. So she really works on her vocals. And if there's a song that calls for like a bit of like you know, talk singing, rapping, that kind of thing, then that's typically her thing. And she's like, even though she feels like she needs to work on it more, she's very good at making things harmonious, like especially then dancing, and that also stretches out to when she's singing. So like her personal style, the first thing that came to my head was like whimsy goth, like help, whimsy goth. No, I wrote down mole goth for Layla. So mole goth, and she has like super curly hair, and yeah, I just think that would suit her. So that's Layla. And then our last and final member is Hélène. So her full name is Hélène Mariam Faye, and she's Senegalese, and her stage name is Hyacinth. And that's simply because I just wanted her stage name to also start with an H, like her first name, because I'm actually kind of sad that I have to like give her a stage name, because like her first name, it's so pretty. Like Hélène is such a pretty name, but either way, I might like steal that for another character, who knows. But either way, she's Senegalese and she's 5'3". She's a little shorty. Pronouns she and her, and she's the maknae of the group. You could say she's 20 and she's the youngest. So she was a trainee for the least amount of time, and she joined a year before they debuted compared to the others. So like Dahlia and Poppy were trainees for 4 years, and then Layla was a trainee for 2 years, and then her Hyacinth, she was a trainee for 1 year. And because she's like the baby of the group, they all kind of baby her, and she's like, you know, she's just a little sweetie pie. So she joined when she was 15 and debuted at 16. So because they were all pretty young when they debuted, their vibe at first obviously matched that, because I don't know, I feel like, I was thinking about it, I was like, let me amend that, because my first thing was that like, okay, they're going to be in like in their 20s, so like that girl crush concept kind of like is appropriate. But then I was thinking that if they debut when they're really young, it'll feel weird to have a 16-year-old doing a girl crush concept, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, it can kind of be like maybe a Twice thing, that like how Twice was kind of in their early days, and then only recently they started doing like girl crush concepts type thing. So like I'd imagine that maybe their sound and then what they'd be singing about and doing kind of grew with them. So once they were comfortable as a group, then doing that kind of like concept, then they chose to make that shift. So I imagine that that'd be like their whole thing, to avoid any weirdness, because I was like, I'm not like, that'd be weird. So yeah. So Hyacinth is the other main vocalist along with Poppy, and she can also play the piano. So for some concerts, that's what she does. Like if it's like kind of an acoustic set type thing, does acoustics like apply to pianos? I don't know anything about music, gents. So she does that for some concerts. You know, she plays the piano, and she's kind of soft spoken, that's her thing, but she has like a big voice. I thought that'd be a cute juxtaposition. And she's also a fan favorite along with, you know, Poppy. So her personal style, she's the one who I had put whimsy goth down for originally. I don't know, I just feel like it'd match her. And all of them, like in their personal style, they have some kind of like flower charm somewhere, flower or starry charm, because I said so. So her personal style is kind of like that whimsy goth vibe, kind of formal. It's sort of similar to Dahlia's, I suppose, because the way Dahlia dresses, it's not formal, but it's kind of like you can tell that she's dressed up. Like she's not just wearing like a shirt and pants type thing. So those are the girlies. So as like some little bonus pieces, I'm including the speed paint of like one of their live stages, so it's almost like a screenshot, because I thought that would be cute. And then I'll also do like a little casual group selfie of them wearing their casual clothes, just to include all the designs that I made. So in like the live stage kind of screenshot image, I imagine that at that point in time their current comeback is currently rolling out, and the album is called In Bloom, you know, and it's just them leaning heavy into like a royal core concept. Like in the speed paints I included while I was coming up with all their stage outfits, that's really what I was going off of, again with kind of like that like flower meets like royal type thing. And I'll just include some like footage of their Pinterest board and what I'm using as inspo for the concept, and tying in the floral theme. And like I gave all of them, as far as makeup goes, a kind of abstract look. So even their outfits, it's not like they wear the same outfit, it's kind of attuned to each person. So like Dahlia's, she doesn't have like much skin showing obviously, and I made her have like a skirt and then stockings and like the long train, kind of like to complement the flowing bits up top with her hijab. And then for Poppy's kind of like I thought of like kind of like not quite berries and cream, like, well, at least I hope so. I hope it's not giving berries and cream. I just wanted to make it like, you know, kind of like more like squire-ish. I don't know. Either way, I really like how all of their fits look. Hyacinth, I also give a skirt simply because she's just the most skirt person, and I imagine she's wearing like bloomers underneath, so no one's getting flashed, don't worry. So yeah, I also like the idea of making them all have their own spin to that. So that's just like their outfits or their current concept. And the vibe of the album In Bloom, I really couldn't tell you like the kind of music that they'll actually be doing. I feel like it would be quite poppy, and then there'd be like some ballads. They're like a mix of like kind of like fun pop rhythm, you know, the whole thing, like songs that you can dance to. But there's also like that ballad aspect. So even the more poppy songs, I'd imagine that like the lyricism can maybe be like a bit dark, but it's offset by like the rhythm, you know. So yeah, like kind of that vibe, kind of like a song like Washing Machine Heart. Like the lyrics are kind of like not dark, but like kind of more morose, but the beat is kind of like upbeat, like you could dance to Washing Machine Heart. Maybe you wouldn't want to, but you could if you wanted to, like that kind of thing. That's the kind of vibe that their music has. And as far as their fandom goes, I imagine that their fandom is mostly normal, because in these worlds there's not like too many crazy stuff. But because, you know, making it too perfect wouldn't be fun, so I decided to add in that like there are some quote unquote toxic parts of their fandom, and imagine that that'd just be shippers. Like, though I imagine that they themselves would like play into it to kind of mess with people, but also who knows, like I don't know, like if anyone is like a BTS fan, me personally I fell victim to that. I don't know if anyone remembers that channel that was called Taekook Lives. And dude, some of those theories had me literally convinced that those men were dating, like. So I imagine that that'd be as bad as it gets for them. Like their fandom is pretty normal. So that, and then maybe some people arguing about line distribution, though I don't see many, like, well, okay, I'm just not in the K-pop verse as much as I used to be. But I haven't seen people complaining about like oh, so-and-so was robbed, or oh, give so-and-so lines. You know, the most that I would see of that was like back in the late 2010s, when people would say that Jin wasn't getting as many lines. And I wouldn't weigh in on those discussions because I didn't even understand what all that meant. I was just like, I'm just here to listen to music and save gifts. So yeah. So the fandom is mostly normal, but just those toxic bits. So the shippers mostly ship like they're the ones who are like, hey, they're not. They're like, no, don't assume people's sexuality. Don't assume that they're gay. Even though Poppy is literally a walking pride flag. And then there's the shippers on the other side who like are convinced that Poppy and Dahlia are dating. Which are they? I don't know. Because ever since I made up that headcanon, or the canon headcanon, since I'm the maker, I guess, I'm like, no, wait, because what if they are dating? So who knows? It's up to your interpretation. So yeah. And I think that like those kind of like toxic parts of the fandom, obviously like they're not great. Again, it's moderation. It's one thing if it's like here and there or like a joke, but when people take things too far, then nothing is fun. But I feel like in moderation, those kind of toxic quote unquote bits can be funny and mostly harmless in my opinion. Same with the line distribution people. It depends though, like is somebody actually getting like robbed and not given lines, or is it just like people being unreasonable? So yeah. And then also a funny thing would be that like saplings, belladonna stands would be like spamming comment sections with fan cams. I think that would just be funny. So yeah. And let's get into the outro. So, yes, making new characters from scratch was really, really fun. And this is basically my character design process. So, to the person who asked, I really hope that this video helped. I wouldn't call this a tutorial at all. It's more just how I do things. So if you happen to watch this and think, oh, let me try this kind of process, it's basically, it's a lot of brain farting and seeing what sticks. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't have like a methodical process. I really just draw and see what feels right and then come up with stuff based on that. So yeah, this was really fun, and my Belladonna girlies are definitely going to be on a lot of posters on my other OC's walls for sure. So that was today's video, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. And if you liked it, feel free to spread the sapling agenda. Drop who your bias is in the comments below. My bias is Dahlia because she's so cool and I really like her design, and my bias wrecker is Poppy because, I don't know, I think it's a Liverpudlian accent. I can't get it out of my head. So yeah, drop who your bias and your bias records are in the comments below. If you like this video, feel free to like this video. And don't forget to comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future uploads from me. So yeah, and also you can follow my TikTok. I posted a TikTok recently. And yeah, I just do a lot of sketch stuff over there. And as always, there's resources in the description. And I put it on my community tab, but my uploading schedule might be a bit topsy-turvy for the foreseeable future because I'm starting college and I want to be a good student. So I'm not going away, but I'll be figuring out how to balance a bunch of stuff. Like even this video is probably late. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. And we're kind of like almost reaching 1K. So for 1K, what I wanted to do was like that 6 characters challenge, maybe. I don't know. Drop ideas for what you guys would want to see for 1K. And yeah, I really had fun. I hope you guys did too. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.